Yo, it's me, CSCOTT, baby. What have I got myself into? What have I got myself into with this full Moon-A-Thon? I said I was gonna do it, so I have to do it, right? Can be too loud in the living room. But, okay. Before I begin, the reason we're in the living room right now is because I'm currently rearranging the bedroom, the office, so to speak. And so I don't have everything ready to go. I had it set up so I could sit in there and do it, but then I had to move some things and everything's clumped together, so there is no space for me to review in there. Well, while I was moving stuff around, I decided to watch the 2000 film from the year 2000, Killjoy, starring Angel Vargas as Killjoy. This is a 3-pack I got from a friend of mine a few years ago. I was watching this on Tubi though, because I had on my phone, I needed to be mobile. It couldn't just be one, especially since I was moving the TV and stuff in the bedroom, which is actually right there. Right there is the TV from the bedroom. So, yeah. So I figured I would start off with one I've actually seen before, and that's Killjoy. Like I said, I got this from a friend of mine, Eric, a few years ago. Cause he don't want it anymore. He gave me a bunch of his DVDs that were in a book, and this was one of them. And I remember I put it in. I put on the first one. This was a few years ago when I got it, and I sat there and I watched it. And I was just like, after it was done, I was just like, even during the film, I'm going, what the fuck am I watching? And then at the end, I sat there going, the fuck what the fuck did I just watch? Oh, okay. So the plot, we can call it that, revolves around an urban African-American neighborhood, and revolves around a gang that accidentally murders a young African-American man named Michael. But before Michael died, before this happened, he summoned Killjoy. And so now Killjoy is free to roam around and kill people, but it still takes 1 year for him to show up, and I'll get to it. So, right away, this movie confuses me. So, you got these two African-American women talking, and they're talking about, one of the girls is talking about how she wants to hook up with this other guy, or she wants to, this one guy gave his number or something, and she's like, well, yeah, I took the number, I can, so I can get a ride instead of having to ride the bus to school. And I'm like, bus to school? Man, you're 30! I swear to God, they look like they were 30 years old. These actors are not, they're supposed to be in high school, but they look like they're 30. At least 30, maybe. I understand you get older actors, but too old. They definitely look 30. I'm just saying. And yeah, and then Michael comes up and starts talking to these two women, just talking to them, and I think he asked Jada out, but I'm not sure, but just talking, and then her boyfriend Lorenzo and his gang members show up, right? I'm trying to get on the internet thing here. I hate when I have to go away. So, and they show up and they beat the hell out of Michael. And Michael then decides to run to his house. And he summons Killjoy, but nothing happens. There it is. Nothing happens. Then one of the gang members shows up and say, hey, Michael, I want to be your friend, man. And Michael just walks out the door to him. He's hesitant at first, but he ends up going out the door. Of course, it's a trap. They kidnap him. They take him to some place in the woods. where they're in someplace in the woods where they proceed to have a gun they wave at him, and they're shooting it off, but they're saying, oh, it's empty, there's no bullets, and then there actually is a bullet in there, and it shoots him, and he's like, man, you said there was no bullets in there, you lied. No, I ain't lied, I didn't think there was any bullets in there, I ain't lied. No, you lied, I ain't lied. I'm like, really? You're gonna argue this? This dude's dying. So they said, oh, we're just gonna leave him there, we're gonna let him die. So they let him die. 1 year later, Killjoy shows up. And the way that the whole man explains it, right? So this alright, so click the thing. Thank you. So I'm looking at the cast here. Jada. Half of these you can't even look at the thing, but so anyway, so the two gang members are T-Bone and Baby Boy. Baby Boy is Hispanic, I believe, and then T-Bone is African American. And they both are tricked by Killjoy. Killjoy shows up and he's like, "What's up, my homies?" And then he's like, they're like, "Who are you?" And well, I am a drug dealer, and I want to sell you some drugs. And I'm dressed like a clown, and I want to sell you some drugs. And then he like puts up this little blunt or whatever, and he's like, "That's some good shit." And so they get in his truck, which, by the way, every time they open the truck, it makes a ear sound with the back door thing. Ear. Every time I open the door, it gets annoying, but. And so they're killed in this. When they go into the back of the truck, they're transported to this other world, which is clearly some warehouse that they had available to film in, and nothing to decorate it with. Except for there's a thing where there's two doors, and they each decide to go down the door, where Baby Boy supposedly gets run into the wall. Like it's run over by Killjoy, even though they didn't have the facts to show it. So this showed Killjoy, like the car coming up and he's going and getting smushed. And then, in the most ridiculous kill, one of the most ridiculous kills, but the most ridiculous, T-Bone finds a blunt, right? He smokes, he's like, "That's good shit." And then Killjoy shows up, he says, "You better be careful before I smoke your ass." He goes, "What's that mean?" And then he starts to disintegrate with the shittiest flame effect I've ever seen. And then, then he goes after... what was his name? Lorenzo. Goes after Lorenzo, right? And Lorenzo's dead. So Lorenzo decides he's gonna, like, the ghosts of his dead friends show up and say, "Man, pop a cap in his ass. Kill him, motherfucker, kill him." So eventually he shoots Killjoy a bunch of times with a gun, right? And then in a remarkably bad version of what happens in The Mask, Killjoy shoots the bullets back out in this weird digital effect that makes it look like he's getting shot. Oh, the effects in this movie are bad. I know it's a full moon picture, but it's terrible. It's terrible. So then, the homeless guy, who we've seen once at the beginning of the film, just sitting there watching the situation from across the street, right, shows up like he's the all-knowing wise sage, saying that, telling the story of what happened, wrong, I might add, but then it changes the way the end of the film happens too. Because according to the hobo's story, the reason he summoned Killjoy was so that Killjoy could kill Lorenzo, Baby Boy, and T-Bone, and he can be with Jada, which is not why he did it at all. Very clearly, he summoned him just to kill them for beating him up. That's why he summoned him. Had nothing to do with Jada, but then they decided, oh, that's what we're going to have it be. Because that's what, it shows very well at the beginning of this movie that why he did it was because they beat the hell out of him and he wanted revenge. That's clearly what they showed. But then, and they even recap it for you in a little video footage thing they got there, where they show you, you know, what he did, even though we already seen it, but they're going to show it to you again. And then the hobo says he did it so he could be with Jada. And then that's... I'm sorry for the noise they're building out there, so I'm sorry. They were quiet a minute ago, and then... So I'm sorry. But then, that's what they use for the rest of the film. It's like they filmed the beginning, and then it's like, oh wait, I have a different way to go with this. So they filmed a recap, but didn't take out the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, they decided to go in a different direction with the film, so they filmed the recap so that the guy can say it was for Jada, so he could be with Jada. And then, that was creepy. I'm reviewing it. Hope that wasn't Killjoy. Y'all hear that? Anyway, very clearly it was supposed to be, it just showed to us that he did it as revenge, and had nothing to do with trying to get Jada. Sure, he wanted to get Jada, but it didn't have to do with, you know, anything. And in the long run, you know, do anything. You know, in a normal film, Michael would be a protagonist, but then he gets killed, murdered, whatever. And now she's dating Jamal anyway, which I don't know. And she's like, Jamal's trying to mac on her, right? And she's like, I'm still in love with my ex-boyfriend. He's like, man, you broke up a year ago, right? Yeah, but I still love him. I'm like, after a year? I understand if you see each other, you know, off and on and stuff, around each other, you stuff. So if you're not around him, and again, we don't see what happens within a year. But anyway, the hobo tells them they have to stop Killjoy and destroy the doll, right? Right, so they end up going into Killjoy's world, if you call it that, the warehouse world, and the most ridiculous conversation happens, right? So Jamal's like, we should split up, and the girls are like, no, we don't want to split up. He's like, I think we should split up. No, we should stay together. We can. No, we should split up. No, we should stay together. You want to find him? Not really. I think we should split up. No, we don't want to split up. How's this? We'll split up, and then if we don't find anything in 5 minutes, we'll meet back here. I'm like, you're not gonna find anything in 5 minutes other than maybe a wall. I mean, and then he takes off one door, the other two go in the other door, which, and eventually it leads to Killjoy and the zombie versions of the gangsters, the gang, whatever, and yeah, just so they like. So Killjoy then says, like, she wants, Jada wants to be free, and she's like, he's like, how about you give me some sugar? And she's like, okay. He's like, huh? She's like, I give you a kiss, you let us go. Let me think about this. You got a deal. And so they kiss, the most kiss, and she said, okay, disappear. And he's like, nope, I lied. Whatever. And then so then he turns into Michael. Then she stabs him. But some blade, something. But she waits till he turns into Michael before she stabs him. That's followed by a scene where they leave, right? And then Killjoy pops up with the gang members and goes, I can't die in my world. Which, why did you do that for? We clearly saw earlier when Lorenzo tried to shoot him that it didn't work. So why would stabbing him work? Wait a sec, this is so... So, they find their way back to Michael's apartment, right? Which they find going through the truck. Makes no sense, but okay. And they get to Michael's apartment. They find the circle still there with the doll, which after a year you think wouldn't still be there, but it is. And so Jada goes to kill the doll, and the doll turns to Michael, and she hesitates because it's Michael. Bitch, you just stabbed Michael! Not 5 minutes ago! And now you're hesitating? I love you, Jada. Don't do it. Don't do it. And so she does, but what? Why would you hesitate if you already stabbed the guy? Why now do you hesitate? It makes no sense. So anyway, no, we're not done with this shit. You think we would, but we're not done yet. They're like, let's go get something to eat. So, because you know something's gonna happen now, we go to a club. And some guy walks in and goes, hey, are you Jada Smith? I kid you not. That is what he said. That's where he said Jada Smith. And she's like, yeah, who are you? Oh, I was in the class with you and this and that. And he's like, how much you guys pay to get in here? And they're like, $10. $10 a piece? Man, that's a lot. Like, how much you pay? I got in here free. How? My brother owns this place. What's your brother's name? Can you guess? Can you guess? Killjoy. Yup. Then he starts laughing. And then it turns to them, turns back, and it's Killjoy. And the girl he was sitting next to him is now Lorenzo. And he's laughing. And then there's a moment before this where it says Jada's been having nightmares again. But then it's a nightmare. And she's back in bed with Jamal. And he's like, he starts to go down. And she's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm horny. She's like, I'm not in the mood right now, Jamal. He goes, come on. So he starts to go down on her, right? And Killjoy pops out from under the covers and says, that's some good pussy. Then the movie ends. You see why I didn't watch the other ones? Do you see why I stopped at this one a couple of years ago when I went to watch it? Do you see why? Oh God, this movie is... I hear that 3 and 4 are better, and I hear that the performance sort of gets better once Trent Haga takes over, but this was no, this is I don't think it's fair for me to give a rating for the Full Moon Pictures. Those are all very so bad it's good, cheesy type horror films that it wouldn't be fair because I'd probably get them all on a lower scale. So I'm just going to say that from what I hear, you don't need to know the entire story because they'll probably tell you in the future sequels anyway. But I would just watch a different one. Because Killjoy, oh my God. Oh my God. That movie is... no. Just no. Well, what are your thoughts on Killjoy? Let me know in the comments below. And come with me as we go forward in the Full Moon-A-Thon. Woo! I've been Scotty. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.